Tomorrow's Thanksgiving, and we all know the fixings. Turkey, dressing, gravy, green beans that your uncle just threw across the room because his daughter said she thinks Mom Donnie has kind eyes. You know, the classics. And listen, this day's long been contentious for many families, but not quite like this, though. No. Gone are those halcyon days when you knew things would be okay as long as you didn't bring up black quarterbacks or those mouthy-ass Dixie chicks, right? Because at the end of the day, you all fundamentally agreed on things like democracy good, concentration camps bad, right? Yeah, well, things have changed a lot since then, but people's advice stays the same. They're like, listen, just look past it. Understand you love these people. It's only one day. And that's all ultimately true, but it sure is more difficult to live by because things are just harder to excuse nowadays. And I'm sure the other side feels exactly the same way. You know they do, right? Because after all, none of us live in the same reality anymore. We don't. Like, we live in a reality where they support an authoritarian regime that disregards the Constitution entirely while a force of armed thugs disappears people in broad daylight, right? And they live in a reality where we support a delusional ideology that would funnel their money directly to criminals while we turn kids into queer fox people. And yes, the crucial distinction here is that only one of those realities is, actually happening. But honestly, what the fuck does that matter, right? This is the internet era, baby. It's the age of bespoke realities, and now fully customizable, made-to-order realities are available to you directly to your door for the low price of this country's goddamn future. That's right, whatever reality you want, you can have it. Are you a traditional papa who just wants to spend your golden years unchallenged by new ideas while you generally live in fear? Fox News has still got you covered. Are you a free speech alpha male pseudo-intellectual crypto bro? Welcome to the Roganverse, right? These days, whatever you want to believe, you just log on, look around, and legions will be lining up to support your worldview. And yes, thanks to Elon, we now know that many of those legions, at least on the right, were actually Russian bot farms or, peasants hate tweeting for tater crumbs or whatever. But hey, still validation, right? Because look, being told you're wrong sucks, right? If you go to Thanksgiving and your immigration lawyer cousin disagrees with you and starts hitting you with all these facts that he learned from experts, that's annoying and it makes you feel dumb. But if you pull your phone out and all your best friends on Twitter agree with you and know that you're smart and understand that just because your cousin has years more relevant education and firsthand experience, that doesn't mean that he knows anything more about this than you do, right? Who are you going to believe? Your cousin or totally real American 1776? Exactly. This country is fractured and people only retreat further into their own preferred realities. And I don't know what we're going to do about it. Probably ends in a second Stone Age, if I had to guess. But for this particular Thanksgiving, I say just try and live by the ancient law of no religion or politics at the table. Cross your fingers and fucking hope for the best. Happy Turkey Day, y'all. Love yins. All right, YouTube, I got more for you in just a second. It's a little bit different this week. You'll see what I mean. But first, I just want to point out that that Elon story about X accidentally showing where all these right-wing accounts came from, like even this sort of meta story about how realities are sculpted, even a story like that can be used to further sculpt reality. Let me show you what I mean.
All right, let's say your Aunt Tammy looking at your now preferred news source, Newsmax, right? Ever since Fox News went woke, you can see Newsmax coverage of this story pretty specific. X location tool exposes fake Gaza accounts soliciting donations. I don't know. So that's the headline according to Newsmax is that this Elon's new tool heroically exposed these scammers falsely claiming to be in Gaza asking for money. This is going to make Aunt Tammy think that, oh, maybe some of the stuff you see out of Gaza, it's not true. It's all a scam. Pretty dangerous. You got to get all the way down here to the bottom where we know Aunt Tammy ain't going to make it to before they acknowledge briefly that there were also pro-Trump accounts originating from other parts of the world, right? Kind of burying the lead. But this is all Aunt Tammy's going to know about it because it's the only place she gets her news from. But if you use the Ground News Chrome extension to click through the full coverage, it's what Ground News does. They compile all the coverage in one place so you can be as informed as possible and make your own decisions, right? And you go over here and you go down, you sort by bias. You look at all the right-leaning outlets. Some of them, I got to give it up. They are focusing on what I think the actual headline is here, right? Like a lot of them, talking about the troll farms, the pro-Trump networks. You can see here, this is a high factuality outlet that leans right. How about that? Props. And then on the left side of the aisle, you can see they're almost entirely focusing on the, as CNN is here, the foreign pro-MAGA accounts. You notice on Ground News, before you ever click an article, you can see where the money comes from, the factuality rating, and the bias of the outlet. That's what they do. They add context and transparency to our current media scape in this country, things that are sorely needed, right? If you think you're already informed enough, you might not be. You never know. But also, when you're sitting at the kitchen table with Aunt Tammy and she says some truly wild stuff, you're like, where did that come from? Well, if you got Ground News, you're going to have some insight into the answer to that question. This lets you peek into the bubbles that everyone else is living in and see how different realities get constructed by our media, and it can help you to avoid that fate for yourself.
So if that sounds good to you, you just scan that QR code there or click the link in the description below to try Ground News today. You can get 40% off their highest tier Advantage plan. Every bell and whistle that they offer up there, it's only $5 a month. It's the holiday season, y'all. It's the right time. Give the gift of knowledge. $5 a month, small price to pay for the big picture. Check out Ground News today.
What's up, YouTube? We're back. Yes, looking a little different, I know. Although if you've been around for a little bit or even just the past couple of months, you've seen me relegated to these particular surroundings at least a time or two, even here on this series, as it were. The what began as the liberal redneck, and then now the Trae Crowder rants. They were Porsche rants, and they're truck rants, Jeep rants, whatever. You know, things evolve. Although I'm still sitting in my car, still ranting into the void, but if you saw it a couple months ago, I did a whole video from right here, sitting in front of my computer with an actual microphone, you know, and some lighting that I don't know how to use right. But I did that once, and it's like the reception was middling at best. There were a lot of people that it's like, no, the Jeep, you know, that's what you do. It's part of the charm or whatever. So then I immediately went back to the Jeep. You probably also noticed, I don't know how you could miss it, that you know, the YouTube videos are divided into two parts. There's the first part, right, which is the primary like Jeep rant on whatever the topic of the week is, right? And then we have a read from one of my lovely sponsors who I appreciate that provide independence, right? And then after that, I get into other things going on, or I add other spare thoughts I had or whatever, and then we get out of there, right? That's how we've been doing it for a while. Also, a couple weeks ago, maybe a month ago now at this point, something happened. I think it was the Jimmy Kimmel thing happened, and I'd already done a rant video that week. I had other stuff going on. I didn't have time to put like a proper rant together, so I just sort of sat down and reacted to it long form in this setting and uploaded that and called it Trae Crowder Reacts. Part of the reason I've been throwing stuff at the wall on YouTube and bouncing around is because, you know, cursed algorithm tortures me as it does all of us out here in these in the digital ether, all us denizens of social media. But yeah, essentially, you know, the subscriber count and that type of thing has like fallen off, and I don't want to make it seem like I'm obsessed with those numbers. I'm not obsessed with them. They are unfortunately directly tied to, you know, my livelihood and ticket sales and all that. You don't want to get left behind. Not to say I hate the obsession with like endless unsustainable growth is what has ruined this entire country through the, you know, the shambling, festering husk of capitalism, that's insatiable beast that it is. So I don't want to sound like that, but you have to just, you know, you got to keep people coming back, hopefully, right? And in order to do that, you have to get in front of people in the first place, is what I'm saying. So the algorithms are always changing. It's been known for a while. YouTube prefers longer videos. This is because they put ads into them, right? That's another thing. The ads. For a long time, because I have sponsors and ad reads, I didn't put regular ads into my videos because I felt a certain type of way about that. But then I was told, you know, if you don't put ads in the videos, YouTube isn't going to promote them to other people. They're not going to, you know, use their algorithm to put them in front of people because YouTube ain't making any money off of you, which is, you know, upsetting and cynical, but it's just the way things work. So then I started begrudgingly putting regular YouTube ads into the videos too, but not in the middle because I have an ad read in the middle, and I just thought it was too much. And maybe all that is too much, but for the most part, the people I've interacted with, fans and stuff, have been pretty cool about the ads. They seem to understand the world we live in now. Those are the things that allow me, you know, independence as a creator. I think most people are kind of hip to that at this point, which is nice, and I appreciate y'all for being understanding, because believe me, I'm very aware of it. I don't want to drive anybody away with that bullshit either, but it's just part of how it works. We're doing a whole, you know, behind the curtain, how the sausage is made take on it this week, because what I've decided to start doing, or at least in the near term, is kind of melding those two ideas of staying in the Jeep, but also doing longer form stuff out here, putting them together. That's the intent now. So what I'm going to try for the next little bit is the same primary form of, you know, comedic wisdom that I provide week in and week out, that you guys, you know, found me for, know me for, and hopefully love me for. That will remain essentially unchanged. You're going to keep doing that. You saw the one I did at the beginning of this video about Thanksgiving and the realities we live in and all that. Going to keep doing those the way that I've been doing them. The second part for YouTube only for y'all, is now going to look more like this, what you're seeing here. So this week kind of serves as a public service announcement for all the, people out there in the YouTube part of the Trae Crowder Skewniverse. Just put the two together. Now, right now, I'm just kind of announcing this or whatever. Obviously, in the future, the subject matter of this part, the second part, which will be a little bit longer, will be other things that have happened that I didn't get to in the primary ranks. I find generally, every now and then I'll do a red roundup or whatever. I'm sure you've seen me do, where I cover multiple things more quickly. But those first opening rants, they pretty much have to be 3 minutes or less because of the other social media platforms that have their own limits on things. And it's hard to get too many different, subjects in 3 minutes, especially if you want to really go in on one of them, which is what I try to do. So in this part, we'll talk about other things that happened or get into, elaborate a little more on other aspects of the primary subject matter of the video that particular week. Also, I will probably do a thing that I did in, the Trae Crowder Reacts, or actually, no, I kind of didn't. What I also might do is, sort of look at just like current headlines and everything, like what's happening like right now, as in when I record this right now, and sort of give you my impromptu thoughts on that. That's a thing I've been doing on Patreon for a while, but just generally I'll try to expand on my thoughts, get a little more like organic. Another thing I've never hidden the whole time is that the opening, the Jeep rants, truck rants, porch rants, whatever you want to call them, the main things, from the very beginning, I have written those. I'm doing air quotes when I say the word written, because for a long time, I didn't actually write anything down, but I'd plan them out. Now, pushing 40, I at least make some notes. Sometimes I write nearly all of it down, but I always planned out what I was going to say, worked through it multiple times before I turned the camera on, right? That will not change. But the second part, this part, the longer form part, the offerings to the YouTube algorithm gods, will be more obviously extemporaneous, from the heart, and organic. Like I said, less focused on my brilliant pacing and incredible joke economy and those types of things that I give you with the opening. So the Jeep Wrestle Service kind of a like an opening segment, and then we'll have a little episode of what amounts to kind of a one-man podcast about what's going on. And if you're wondering how long it's going to be, I don't know what people's taste for that sort of thing is, but I'm thinking whole thing. I don't think, and I hope doesn't need to be like longer than like 15 minutes or something like that. I figure like 10 to 15, right? So right now, if my math is right, we're pushing up around 12 or 13 or whatever. And I know this one has been nothing but an announcement, but I felt inclined to provide it for whatever reason. I've got this, like, I'm not going to say obsession with transparency, but I've always valued just being straight up with people, essentially. So I just want you to know, like, that's why all these decisions are made. You get told when you're in this world, this like online comedian, content creator, influencer, good Lord, please don't call me an influencer, but that type of, when you're in that business, you get told these things all the time. Oh, this is how it works. You got to do this. You got to do that. You got to do whatever. And most of that I've pretty much just eschewed for the decade I've been in this business. And you could probably tell, I think, it probably to my detriment. So with that said, enjoy your Thanksgiving, or if you're seeing this a couple days later, I hope it wasn't too contentious. Hope Uncle Randy didn't get too drunk, too wild, too insane. And I hope you guys made it through it okay, and generally had a good time, and found your way through to, and feeling love and appreciation for these people, who make up your own little universe and your own family unit, even the bug fuck nuts ones. So I hope it was good. Happy Turkey Day. We're getting into the holiday season. It's my favorite. It's always been into Christmas, even though I don't particularly care for Jesus himself was like, he was pretty cool, as I understand it. you know, I've always gotten him. I'm pretty Bible dumb. If you've been around for a while, you know that. But my understanding is that Jesus was actually, that he was pretty legit. But his whole thing in this country, I'm not super into. However, his birthday, though, which to me is just a secular, like, get fat, drink cider, lick candy canes, see family, stay inside, watch movies type of holiday. I'm a big fan of. So, yeah, looking forward to the holiday season. Hope that the current iteration of the United States of America doesn't ruin it completely for all of us, as I feel like is certainly on the table, but I guess we'll all find out together. So that's it. Like I said, you'll be seeing me here after the Jeep, at least for the near future, doing this, except next time I'll actually talk about things that, you know, are happening and might interest you. This one was more of a PSA. I hope you will afford me that luxury. Either way, thank you for being here. We'll see how this goes. And yeah, still got to get my sign off, put the things up here at the very end of every YouTube video. This is my comedy special, Trash Daddy. Watch it again. Show your friends if they haven't seen it. It's good. And subscribe to this channel. You see these videos, cooking videos, stand-up, podcast, all that. And then importantly for me, TraeCrowder.com, my website, where I have ticket links, where I do tour dates. I tour around the country doing stand-up comedy. That's what I really do. I get rave reviews. People like it. It's fun. If you haven't seen me, check it out. If I'm coming near you, get your ticket, come out. We have a good time. Either way, I really appreciate you being here. I mean that. I love you like chicken. Hang in there, everybody. See you. Bye.